Yo, how's it going? We're back for another trick tip. Now this one, it was actually requested by Alex Foster, who was looking at his trick and kind of trying to figure it out. And if Alex asks me to do something, I'm going to do it, and so should you, because he's rad and he does a lot for us as a freestyle community as well. So help a brother out, man. So today we are going to look at getting from rail to Casper, but we're not going to do it by just flopping the board down. We're actually going to pop the board up and over out of rail and into Casper. It's a little bit different, a little bit harder maybe than flopping down into Casper, but quite a lot of fun, lots of versatility, and there's a few different variations which are pretty fun to figure out. So let's have a go, see how we get on. So you want to be comfortable getting up into rail, that's pretty vital for this one. And you want to be pretty comfortable getting down into Casper as well. If you can, if you've already learned a rail flip, then that's going to help a little bit just to get around the mechanics of getting out of rail as well. That's going to help you out with this. Okay, so in terms of difficulty, this one is kind of more of an intermediate trick, I would say. But knowing where to get your feet and knowing just how much pressure you need to pop the board over is vital. Once you've figured that out, they're actually fairly easy and they'll click into place quite nicely. So have a go at them, doesn't matter what level you're at, and just see how you get on. Right, so get yourself up into rail however you see fit. Just get your set up there, just as you would do. So we want to be feeling the edge of the wheel kind of on our instep, just on the arch of our foot, and we're pointing the toes outwards at about 45 degrees. Keep it nice and solid on there as well. Now the back foot in this instance is actually going to come off the board a little bit and be hooked just behind it. Imagine if you were going to be flopping down into Casper, except from this time we're almost doing it in switch. So that back foot is coming just behind the board and touching the grip. Again, about 45 degrees, but kind of pointing down this time towards the floor. If that made sense to you, you are doing fantastically well, because listening back to it, it doesn't make sense. So here's a video for you. You can see where my feet are going, and there's one filmed from the back as well, so you can see where that back foot is pointing. Rad, now the flip. So this is where things get a little bit tricky. What we want to be doing is using a little bit of pressure on that front foot, so the one that's up on the rail, to flip the board over. And as we're doing that, we're going to push and kind of scoop the board over with the back foot as well. So a bit of pressure on the front foot to pop it, and kind of pushing and scooping the board over with the back foot as well. Right, now the board's coming over and started to flip up and over. What we want to be doing is then get that front foot ready underneath the board to catch the Casper underneath, and that back foot needs to be ready to slap really quick onto the tail to lock that Casper in. It's a fast movement. Have the back foot ready. As soon as the board is popping over, and that back foot needs to go straight onto the tail, and the front foot nice and shoveled underneath. Rad. Then once you've caught your Casper, it's entirely up to you how you get out of it. Just popping the board back over again is probably the easiest way. You might feel that you're off balance a little bit just because of the torque of flipping that board over. It might throw you off a little. So you might end up finding that when you pass the board back over, you're leaning back quite a lot. Best way to counteract that is just give it a bit more of a jump over towards the nose when you hit that flip. Common things that can go wrong. So the board can pop up a little bit too vertical and you almost end up catching it up in a truck stand. But also the board can end up just popping miles away. The front foot gets underneath but the back foot doesn't quite sit on. So you're going to have to play with your foot positioning a little bit. It's going to be different for every board. On my board, because it's not a bi-directional board, then I prefer to go off the nose. I go off the shorter kicktail, the one that's a bit more rounded. That tends to flip off a little bit better for me and just catch a bit nicer. So play around with that pressure that you need on the front foot. You're not trying to kick it over really hard. It's a really gentle, really subtle movement, and that jump up towards the nose will help bring the board over to you. Rad. That whole thing was harder to explain than it really should have been, but hopefully it makes a bit more sense to you now. Now there's tons of different variations for this one. You can try the crossfoot ones, crossfoot 1.5s as well, which are pretty tricky. The same principles apply, except from obviously with a crossfoot one, then you're only using your feet, so you need to keep right over your board. Give them a try. If you're struggling with this kind of popping over into Casper, let me know. I'll try my best to help you out. Like, share, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Don't feel obligated though, because if you're not sick of me now, I'll give it about 2 more videos until you're kind of bored to death. Best of luck with them. Tag me in your clips on Instagram and stuff, and enjoy. Nice one. Cheers. Bye bye.